Hey guys, it's Lauren from the Express Lane, and we are coming back at you with another marketing video. We are really excited. We had such a good response to our first marketing video that we wanted to bring you round two. So of course I have Salem back with me, the other half of our marketing department, and today we are talking about social media for business. Now there is a 2022 statistic that says that 75% of internet users actually use social media to research businesses. So it's really important that if you haven't considered getting on social media, it might be time to do it. So today we are sharing our social media for business checklist for beginners. So these are our top 5 items that we believe every small business should have when it comes to social media, and we're gonna count them down
for you. So for our first point, we are going to be defining our audience or our demographic. Basically, who are we going to be posting for? So we have here at Express, we have 2 audiences. We have our associates who are searching for jobs, and we have our clients who are searching for job seekers. So as you can imagine, that's 2 very different social media posts, audiences, emails that we're sending out. But yeah, for the emails, we have the associate emails that are more job heavy, getting those jobs out to people, seeing what they wanted to go into, what they might like. And then the client emails are more job seeker heavy, trying to get those candidates in to the sites and finding freshly interviewed candidates for clients. So just like our emails, what goes into our social media posts is also very targeted towards either our associates or our clients. Our Facebook and our Instagram is geared more towards our associates, which we have found useful. And our LinkedIn, we found that it's more towards clients. We have more client followers on there. And so we've definitely taken the analytics and stuff from the last year or so and we've definitely used that to our advantage to figure out like what we're going to post where, and that's only helped us from there.
Yeah, I think it's important to target your audience across platforms, like you said, because you really are going to have a different type of audience. You know, LinkedIn members, they're most likely looking at LinkedIn during the business day versus your Facebook followers, your Instagram followers, they're most likely looking at those outside of business hours. So even depending on what time you post, even if you're posting the same content, you might want to post at different times of the day too. I think one of the really important things when it comes to social media is your targeting too. Like once you get into spending some money on advertising and going for a paid reach instead of just an organic reach, that's really the time where you need to look at if you fall into one of those special categories. So every platform has special advertising categories, and you fall into those if you are dealing with housing, if you are dealing with politics, and for us, if you are dealing with employment. So obviously we are an equal opportunity employer, but that also means that we are very limited in the type of targeting that we can do with our advertising, because we can't discriminate by age, we can't discriminate by gender. We want anyone and everyone to be applying for the wide variety of jobs that we have available. So we really don't do a lot with targeting besides just targeting location, because we are a brick and mortar business. We work in a specific location. So of course we only want to reach job seekers in that specific location. But if we say if we sold, wedding bands or something, we could target someone who just changed their Facebook status to engaged. We could target specific age ranges. We could target, female-based ads versus male-based ads. There's a whole host of targeting that you can do if you don't fall into one of those special ad categories like we do. So there really is a lot of opportunity to make sure that you are finding the right audience member. It's just most important to firstly define who your audience is.
All right, so now that you've defined your audience, the next item on our checklist is to make sure you have a clear bio on your social media pages. When people are, at least I know when I'm scrolling through sites, when I come across like a page, I'm like, oh, hey, like I know this business, or I like this person, I immediately will go to their profile. And if there isn't all the information that I need, if it's a business, if there's not like a phone number or a website or a location, even if it's like a brick and mortar business, I'm kind of deterred from it. In my eyes, it loses credibility a little bit as a business.
Doesn't look legit.
Yes, and so I'm a little iffy, especially in our age of technology nowadays, and how good people are tech savvy. So yeah, those are just some things that you kind of want to make sure you have when you're starting out, because it's kind of like your bare bones or your bones of your site. That's what people see when they pop onto your page.
Yeah, I think it's really important to just have, like Salem mentioned, any kind of contact information, like your street address, a phone number, an email where they can reach you, even a link to your website. You do get one link in your LinkedIn profile, or in your LinkedIn profile, in your Instagram profile. So, I mean, make sure that you do include your website with that as well. I know some people use like Linktree and things like that too to link up different articles as well. So make sure that you are utilizing that so that people can find your website and that they know that you do exist beyond just Instagram or beyond just Facebook, that you are a legit business. I think the other really important thing to include in your bio is who your audience is. Let people know we, are looking for job seekers in, Western Wisconsin. And so somebody knows that, like, okay, if they don't live in Western Wisconsin, then we're not really going to be able to help them with the job. So same thing with like even like some of our Minnesota offices as well. So we do try to include that we are a brick and mortar business, that we are helping local businesses and local job seekers in our bio. We'll actually go ahead and just like pop a screenshot on the screen right here, right now, about what a couple of our bios look like for Instagram, so you guys can get a feel for that too. And I think that when you are, as well as letting your audience know like kind of what's in it for them, for us, that would be that we have access to hundreds of jobs in the area, that we have a ton of local business connections, and just really explaining in that bio as well what we do, that we help connect job seekers with those local businesses. And you don't need to do it in a lot of words. It doesn't take much, but just something that really tells your audience what you do, what's in it for them, how they can contact you to learn more if they're intrigued by your profile. And the one other thing that we wanted to mention when it comes to Instagram, I know it's not technically a part of your bio, but it comes before your posts, so it's kind of its own thing.
It's up there.
Would be your Instagram highlights. So the highlights are different categories of stories, and these can be super beneficial for explaining kind of the nuts and bolts, I feel like, of your business. Because if we're sharing a post, say about like interview tips, that's not necessarily helping somebody right away that's looking for a job, or it's not helping a client right away learn about what we do. So for us, our story highlights include reviews, they might include FAQs, meeting our team. All of these things, really establish credibility and let people know about the bases behind the account too, because you always want to remember that people want to do business with other people. People don't necessarily want to do business with other businesses. So really making sure that you are creating this really warm, credible first impression allows people to learn more from just scrolling on Instagram without even calling you or walking into your business, to create that really strong first impression.
And I mean, and highlights, they make it easy for people. They don't have to scroll and scroll and scroll through their whole page. It gives you a highlight of what you do.
And I mean, when you think about it too, like think about Amazon. When we go to Amazon, obviously we're searching for an item, but the first thing that most of us do is we look at reviews.
Yes.
So having a reviews Instagram highlight on your Instagram profile lets people know, all right, I'm interested in this business. I want to see what their reviews say. And that's a way to have all of that hooked up right there without having to link it to like your Google business page with your Google reviews, or your Facebook page with your Facebook reviews. It's all right there in one easy place.
Right. All right, so our third point that we're going to be talking about today is content calendars. But we've already made a whole video on content calendars to try and help you out. So if you want to learn more information about that, more in-depth information, there's a link right here, or there's going to be a link in the description as well for you to go check that out. But for just a brief overcap, we are going to be talking about like what kind of content and where to post it. So you kind of want to know like what you're going to be posting, whether it's going to be a story, whether it's going to be like a regular post, multiple photos in one post, like a carousel on Instagram, or like a video. With that, you also need to know what platforms you're going to be posting on, because like TikTok to Instagram to LinkedIn and even YouTube, they are very different. And so it would be nice to have like a plan of what you're going to do, when you're going to do it. it just keeps everything clear. Sorry.
I know you're good. I would say that too with that's really going to determine how you take your photos, how you take your videos as well, because if you're doing an Instagram reel or an Instagram story or you're doing a TikTok, you're going to want to use your phone, vertically, versus if you're going to do a YouTube video, you're going to turn your phone horizontally. So those all have an impact too on how you shoot your content. And sometimes you might end up wanting to shoot multiple pieces of content in different settings so that you have more to work with when it comes time to, cross-pollinating your content and putting it on different platforms.
And it's just when you plan it out, what you're going to be posting or filming or shooting, like you're going to want to dress a specific way, or if you need other people, you want to like plan it with them so it's not just like a last minute, like, hey, can I borrow you for this video quick? Like they have an idea. Just so everyone's like days are planned out more solidly, and it just helps everything kind of like be more clear.
Or if you need an outfit change, or if you need different gear that you have to bring, if you need to bring props, any of those kinds of things too. It's just having a plan specifically on a content calendar, you are going to be more prepared. For us specifically, we work with multiple different express offices with our marketing department. So there are days where we go physically to other express offices, and we need to make sure that we have our ducks in a row, that we have all of our stuff organized, so that we can bring whatever gear we need to bring with us to make sure that everything runs smoothly that day, and that we can stay on task, and that we can make sure that we're adhering to that office's specific schedule of when they want content filmed.
And what kind of content they want filmed. All of our offices have kind of like their own different personality. And so like knowing what to do for that too, it helps a lot.
Absolutely.
But going off that, if you're just starting, it might be helpful just to only stick to like one platform. We maybe recommend Facebook.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, there was a report done in 2022 that said that Facebook was almost at 3 billion users still. And I'm guessing that most of you watching this probably have your own personal Facebook accounts, so you already know how to use it. And so it is pretty user friendly still, and it's a good starting business, or a good starting platform, excuse me.
And then once you master Facebook, once you master one platform, you can definitely start moving on to other platforms. But I would say too, also to have a plan outside of social media. Obviously, this is a social media for business checklist video, but you don't own any of these platforms. You're just putting your content out there, and the algorithm is determining who receives your content. You have control only to a point. And so I would say it's also really important to think about your marketing strategy beyond social media. So whether that's email marketing, like we talked about a little bit earlier, whether that is, your Google business page, whether that's, a Spotify ad, even just updating your website, it's really important to make sure that you're regularly updating those pieces of content as well. And you're not really putting all of your eggs in that one social media basket and hoping that that's gonna, get the word out to everybody.
So for our next point, we're gonna be talking about tracking and analytics, and kind of like what kind of goals like we've set for ourselves to kind of keep us on track. And so for our goals, and like our analytics, which correlate, we track weekly, monthly, and even daily. Yeah. Daily. And that that helps us kind of know where we're at, like maybe what we need to improve on, what we can maybe like pull back on to keep an even flow of like content going out and whatnot. And it also helps like where you're pulling back on followers, or where like follows are really like on an uphill incline. So that helps like, oh well, LinkedIn, we need more client-based stuff, at least for our business. And so that kind of helps with that.
Yeah, I would definitely say you don't want to wait until the end of each quarter to pull your numbers, because that's probably going to be a little bit too late. You really want to be tracking, I would say, at minimum a monthly, round of numbers, so that what are your top performing posts. That's one of the analytics that we pull for each of the offices that we work with every month. It's top 5 performing posts per platform. That's always an interesting thing to look at, because what performs best on Instagram is not what performs best on LinkedIn. So it's really important that when you are looking at top performing posts, you're looking at them across multiple platforms, if you do have multiple platforms, and then using that information to make next month's content calendar. It all really ties back together, because obviously if those posts performed well once, they're likely going to be performing well next time around when you use that content again. So I think that pulling those numbers every month as well, pulling like how many followers, you're gaining, or even paying attention to posts where you might have lost followers on Instagram specifically as well, you can see what posts cause somebody to click on your website. So that's something that's really interesting to note as well. There's so many, analytics and insights within each of the different platforms. So you can see what kind of posts are being shared well. You can really kind of target to say, all right, I know that my audience is going to react this specific way if I post this specific post. So that's super helpful to know for numbers as well. So it's also really important that you're tracking analytics when you are doing a paid advertising option, because yes, organic reach is great. And we of course want to make sure we're reaching as many people for free as possible, but you do want to focus on what kind of return you're seeing from ads. And with ads, you can target based on whether your goal is to reach more people or get more messages or get more likes. You can really target all of that, even if you are falling into one of those special, advertising categories of being employment or housing, things like that. So tracking that, I feel like is really important too, because you want to see, is this ad causing somebody to click a button to call your office? Is it causing somebody to click a button to view your website? Those are all really important things to look at. And for us as well, we track our ROI. And the way that we do that is we track it through a marketing source. Every single person that's ever interviewed with one of our offices, they're asked that pivotal question: how did you hear about us? Because we want to know if they found us solely because of a Facebook ad or an Instagram ad or a post on LinkedIn. How did they actually hear about us? Because that helps us determine, okay, our marketing efforts are driving that person to then come in and complete an interview with our office. So those are really just a few of the analytics numbers that we'd recommend tracking. So your return on investment, tracking your followers, tracking how much content you're putting out, because you really can find correlations when it comes to your business.
Right.
And we have busy seasons in our business just like anybody else does. And normally we do see, if we have an uptick in business that month or even that quarter, we also probably have an uptick in social media engagement as well. And once you have those numbers figured out, once you've been tracking those for a little bit, I would say even if you've been tracking those for a quarter or even 6 months, at that point you can start kind of seeing those trends and you can start setting goals. So do you have a follower goal that you want to grow by a certain number of followers for the end of the year? Do you have a specific goal for yourself that you want to put out, 10 reels each week, or you want to put out, 5 videos each week or 5 carousels each week? Setting these goals for yourself, and then once you actually achieve those goals, setting some really awesome celebratory milestones. And for us this year, that's included express gear from our company store. That's included new work totes for us to lug all of our gear around. And most recently, it included a trip to Valley Scare, which was so much fun. So we just did that last Saturday. So I'll pop some pictures on the screen here of some of our celebratory moments, but it just really is important to set those goals, having something to work toward with your marketing efforts, because sometimes if you're checking numbers day to day, you're not maybe seeing that much growth, but being able to look back at hitting these goals over the last 6 months or last year, you can really see how far you've come, which is really motivating.
And I also think it's important to we have records of each week, or even if you're doing monthly, keeping a physical record of those numbers and being able to look back at them. I don't know, I feel like that's kind of helpful.
Yeah.
Seeing where you go up and down, and when you are going up, it's kind of a good mood booster sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely similar to planning for your business, right? To setting next year's budget, to, looking at what are your busy times versus what are maybe your not so busy times. Because too, with the different seasons that a business has, then you can plan accordingly too for your social media. For me, it helps me kind of take vacations, because I can figure out what are going to maybe be slower times of the year that I maybe don't need to be here as often for things like that. So there's really a lot with tracking numbers that will help you better plan for next quarter, next year, even next month. So we would definitely recommend it.
Yes.
The last item on our checklist for today's video is all about different tools that you can use to enhance your social media. And we really wanted to make sure that we said that you can do this for free. You can absolutely start using some of these tools for free. A lot of these different applications, they have free versions that you can use. So while we love Canva Pro and we use it every day, there is a free version of Canva. Most of the apps, like the Instagram app or the TikTok app that you use, those are free to use, and they have a ton of features built into them. So when you are just starting out, don't feel like you need to spend all this money on a software scheduler for your posts. Don't feel like you need to spend all this money on a big email scheduler. There are a lot of options that you can do just for free. I know that like MailChimp, for example, has a free version. SurveyMonkey has a free version. And while yes, you might be limited with these free versions, it's at least somewhere to start, right? And
everyone needs like a grace period to like get into it. It's a slow incline to get like where you want to be to like pay for this stuff.
Yeah.
So everyone starts somewhere.
And if you can start with a free version or even a trial version of something, you can decide whether or not you do think that monetary investment is going to be worth it for you. And my whole philosophy has always been, I would rather spend money on the actual marketing, on the advertising piece, than I would on the design piece. So it's like you can take your own photos, you can, edit in Canva Pro, you can edit in, even the free Photoshop app on your phone. There are a lot of things that you can do with free items. Go that route, go free with your designing, and then spend the money on getting your Facebook ads out to more people. Yeah. And if you boost on Facebook, for example, because Facebook also owns Instagram, you're now advertising on Instagram as well for the same price. Exactly. So it's really the best way to kind of make your marketing dollars stretch to reach a paid audience rather than just putting your eggs in that organic reach kind of basket. When it does come time to upgrade to paid versions of different items, obviously we have a paid posting scheduler that we love. We have our paid email platform that we use, which we really enjoy. They have some really great analytics in there. But I would say by far our favorite, pro purchase has been Canva Pro. Yes. So we use that all the time, every single day. We're both constantly on it. And Canva Pro is really great because it has all of your templates. It has, as well as their library of templates, their library of photos, their library of videos, their library of audio. There's so many resources there for you to use. And because you're paying for it, you're paying for the license to those items as well.
Yeah, so there's not like going to other sites to try and find stock photos. Obviously, you can upload your own photos, so when you have the license to those. Yeah, so it's great. There's like an endless supply of graphics, videos, photos, your logos that you upload or make. It's great.
And with Canva Pro, you see the changes in real time too. So if she's working on a design, I can go in and see what she's doing. I've loved the whiteboard feature. That's a newer feature that Canva has put out. And that allows us to manage our projects. So we can manage like budgets in there and make little like sticky notes or set reminders for each other, things like that, send things to each other for approval. There are a lot of features in there that we've really liked using so far too. And while both of us are, of course, trained in Adobe, specifically in the Adobe Creative Suite, the cost for that is not always within, a company's budget, especially a small business just starting out. And Canva has made it really affordable to get a lot of design expertise for a limited amount of money each year.
Yep, I agree. And yes, Canva is very user-friendly, and you don't really need too much training to use Canva. It's I know they sometimes will have even like tutorials on like how to do it, when you get started, when you sign up. So it'd be like, oh, this is here, this is there. So it's very user-friendly.
And there's so many apps out there. There's green screen apps out there. There are different, video editing or, photo editing apps out there. And a lot of those do cost money, but it's important to remember too, I think that for every, paid app, there is either a free version of that app or there is a free app out there that you might be able to utilize and save a little bit of money too. Right. For us, I feel like every single day I find a new Instagram feature within the app that I didn't know existed. And obviously Instagram is free to use, but there's a green screen remover in Instagram. There are all kinds of filters. There's all kinds of audio. So there's so many things even within these free apps that you already have that you just might not be utilizing to their full potential that could really help you out down the road.
So a little research might be useful on like simple apps that you've been using, like Lauren said, for a while now. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn. Like just doing some research, like what different features can I be using to like boost or support my new business.
Even within YouTube, I just started using the YouTube audio library the other day. So there's a lot out there that you might not quite be aware of that you already have access to that would help you out with your business.
All right, so that wraps up our social media checklist for those small businesses that are maybe just starting out. For beginners, we hope you enjoyed what we had to say. We hope you found something useful out of it. And yeah, just let us know if you want to hear more from the marketing department and our YouTube channel. And let us know what you want to hear, what you'd want to see from us, hear from us, what we have to think.
Yeah, leave us a comment in the comment box below. Let us know what kind of topics you want us to address. And if you want us to address other marketing pieces, if you want us to address interview tips, resumes, whatever you might need for your job search or for just starting out with your small business, we'd love to hear from you. So we'll see you back here next Wednesday where we bring you even more tips to help you get your career in the express lane.